Welcome back, you creative writers. I am Kaufman, and you found yourself in another daily writing motivation stream as we mark episode 230 of Kaufman Writes and day 321 of consecutive writing streams. So today we're going to be doing not one, but two writing sprints. We're going to try to make some progress on our stories. I know I'm eager to hop into the Last Scarecrow as we spent most of yesterday with our Hermes the cat. So I'm going to be making progress with Last Scarecrow. Stick around till the break and we'll get into some writers chat, some shenanigans, and we'll see what everyone is up to. So I'm stoked because we're starting right now. Okay, so let me just hop into the comments. Welcome, Bobby, taking it up first. Welcome, my friend, and ML. Glad to see you again, ML. Welcome, welcome. Hope that you are having a great day. Absolutely. I'm having quite a lot of snow here, so winter has come. Winter has come and it has arrived. So I'm definitely looking forward to all the snowy craziness. Let's see. And Courtney, welcome, my friend. Glad to have you in here. Hopefully, making some great progress with your story. You're like, I've been trying to get motivated to write today, but it is going slowly. Well, I totally understand that. Some days are better than others, but we're going to try to get motivated together. I know, let's see, motivation for me right now. I feel relatively motivated, but I know with the last section that I was working on in Scarecrow, now that we have introduced the hand and the foot, it's the it's crazy. It's crazy. I did not know that I was going to be doing a hand and foot thing. And it actually kind of works where we have this kind of like Addams Family hand, but it's like a robotic hand. And then we have this robotic foot, and it's actually working out very well. So we're going to get into our stories. I would love to see, what are you trying to work on today? Are you guys trying to work on your main projects, or do you have anything else in the works? Let's get into our first writing sprint, see what shenanigans, what craziness we could get into. I have my writing set up already. As you know, I'll throw up my music. It'll probably be time for me to make a new playlist soon. I'll have to do a new playlist. I think I made the last one about a month ago. So I think right now I'm probably on par to do about one new playlist a month. So we'll see. Let's get into it. All right. And then we'll chat during the break. So excellent. I am all set on my end. Perfect. So whether you're brainstorming, writing, or editing, that's all part of it. Come join us because we're going to be writing for 25 minutes. All right. So I got 25 minutes on the clock and it's time right now. Writing sprint done. Wonderful, wonderful. So I felt very, very good about that. I was able to make some great progress on Scarecrow. I'm very happy with where it's coming out on my end. I would love to hear, how is the writing going? I know we just hit the end of the week. I know we're about halfway through the month. Is and actually, let me pose a better question. So let me pose a better question to you. So we're about halfway through the month of NaNoWriMo, and whether or not you're participating or not, how do you feel about your overall progress, just in general, as compared to tracking day by day? How do you feel how your story, or maybe you're starting on a new story, is going overall? If you're happy with it, great, great progress. If you're like, hey, I didn't meet my goals, what are you going to do differently? What are you going to challenge and do differently, especially as we're about to hop into the holidays of the season? I would absolutely love to hear. Drop it down in the comments. So, those of you know, I've been making some pretty solid progress with Scarecrow in November. October, I didn't make as much as I'd wanted, but now I'm making decent progress. I'm probably about 20%. I might be a little over. I'm probably in the 20 to 25% range of the book. So making some good progress. And then we're at this really strange, not strange, I'm at a really fun scene. I'm really happy with where I'm at. But I introduced these two characters. Scarecrow entered into this destroyed city of rubble, and he's basically encountered a talking hand, similar to like the Addams Family hand, but it's like a robotic hand and a foot. And through the hand is very sarcastic, very, very sarcastic, and tells Scarecrow that the hand and the foot will take him to see the Tin Wizard, who Scarecrow was told to go see, but if he is deemed worthy. Now, the hand frightens him by saying that all the ash and pile and the rubble you're seeing in the city, because the city is mostly destroyed, is the ashes of the dead. Ashes of the dead who failed to find the Tin Wizard. So the Scarecrow is basically following this. The foot's like kind of like a just hopping along single foot as the hand is on top of it, kind of acting like a tour guide. I want it to be this kind like this very like strangely like comedic situational moment as they're walking through this destroyed city. And I wanted to have this moment, and I actually like the direction that I'm taking with it. I kind of wanted to have this like low moment of comedy, because the story's been very relatively dark so far, because Scarecrow has been in a lot of difficult situations, and I felt it was important to be able to balance it with a little comedy and brevity, because it's about to get dark again. So I always think that even with dramatic stories, you got to balance, right? Highs and lows. Absolutely. So let's see. Let me hop back in. Oh man, we got a couple people hopping in. I was like, clearly I fall behind the chat over here. I'm glad you're able to hop in and join us, my friend. Hope the writing is treating you well. Let's see, where are we at? Andy, glad to see you. Hope the storytelling is treating you well. Awesome. I'm curious, Andy, Emma, if you guys are still here, what are you guys working on? Anything fun right now? I appreciate you tapping the like button, my friend. Absolutely appreciate you. We got a bunch of cool writers here. Sounds like we're all trying to make some progress, some Sunday progress on the storytelling vibe. ML, you're like on that chat. You're like, you got 205 words. I spent too much time chatting. That totally happens to me sometimes. I always have to try to find balance between writing and then talking with the chat. That ML, I feel your pain. But I love talking with people, so it's always trying to find balance for me. Emma, you're like, I'm at 32,000 nano, kind of impressed with myself. Great work. Great, great, great work, Emma. Glad that you've actually been able to make some solid progress for yourself. Definitely remind me what story you're working on again, but that's really, really awesome. Let's see, Courtney. I was told today that trying to do 50,000 words in a month was too much for me and I need to give myself more time. Really hurt me, to be honest. Like, I'm not capable of doing it. So, Courtney, that's a really interesting call out. First off, let me just say you're absolutely capable of doing 50,000 words. 100% you are capable. You could probably do even more words if you really wanted to. Now, the thing to keep in mind, Courtney, is that the 50,000 word goal, I think to me, it's less about the goal and it's more about the mindset and the process, right? Why do we try to hit 50,000 words in a month? to be in that writing mindset, the daily writing mindset. So we're always writing. I think what you need to commend yourself on, Courtney, is that you've been working on your storytelling pretty consistently this entire year. Writing doesn't need to just happen in November. I think November just happens to highlight it because of NaNoWriMo. So, and then I also think it's important to recognize that regardless of how much progress you make with NaNoWriMo or with your 50,000 word goal, you also have to keep in mind of what your personal goal is. Is your goal just to pump out a consistent amount, get as many words as possible? Or is your goal to get writing done and then also have a certain level of quality to it? And I think trying to recognize what your goal is and then why haven't you met your goal yet, right? So you're like, okay, my goal is to get 50,000 words in a month. Is that realistic or not realistic? And if you're behind your goal, well, what needs to change? Because hitting 50,000 words is a matter of just like, all right, I have to get this many words per day, per week, right? But then if, let's say, you've been trying to hit your word count goal and you've been distracted, maybe like family, work, whatever it could be, then you have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, is that actually realistic for me right now at this stage in my life? Like I said, I've been writing my entire life. There's been many, many years where it was not realistic for me. I'm capable of doing 50,000 words, but it's just never been a realistic goal. Even this month, if I was trying to do 50,000 words myself, it's not realistic for me because I have so many competing priorities, which is why I knew the only way that I could reach it was by doing the community, Hermes the story, Hermes the cat project. So I hope that helps, Courtney, because I absolutely think you're capable. I really, really do. And if you're not where you want to be at, what are you going to do about it? The great thing is you can always change, my friend. You can absolutely always change. I hope those the words of encouragement help a little bit, Courtney. And I can tell from the chat, everyone absolutely agrees, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. Nano puts too much pressure on the number. I think it's also the quality. Compare yourself to people that might not edit, etc. Hang up. Which is why NaNoWriMo, the goal of 50,000 is about just writing. If you're writing all year, like it's less of a, I think it's less important if you're writing all the time. But if you're the type of person, you're like, all right, I get to November, I'm gonna start writing because that's a goal, and then I finish in December and then I stop writing, then that's when it's a problem. Yep, absolutely agree. Very, very great, great words from the community. Emma, I absolutely love that. If you're running behind, Courtney, we're also indignant on your behalf. I'm sure we could have a whip around and donate some words. Emma, I absolutely love that. That's that's a really great call out, by the way. Courtney, like, thank you, everyone. It just hurts because I'm doing things first person. They're acting like my not writing isn't their fault. I could totally understand that. And yeah, yeah. And I think then at the end of the day, Courtney, it's like, who are you writing for? Usually when we feel hurt, we usually end up feeling hurt due to some type of lack of a miscommunication, lack of communication, maybe unclear expectations. So then maybe it's a conversation to think about and look within and be like, okay, well, who are you truly writing for? You guys know, with Last Scarecrow, I'm writing on the streams every day. And clearly I need to have the presentational aspect to be able to be make sure that if people want to read along, they can on the streams. But at heart, I'm writing for myself. I've just learned how to balance it of write for myself and also be able to write for a live stream type community. I'm working on the first in a cozy romance series set in a Welsh seaside town. Ooh, cozy romance. I know we have some romance writers in here. That's very, very cool. Likewise. Aw, thanks, Emma. Let's see. Courtney, I love the story too much to allow it to fail. I won't write if I know what will come out isn't good enough. I love this to allow it to fail. I won't write if I know what will come out isn't good enough. Well, I mean, Courtney, I think the thing to think through with that, right, is, let's say, I love the story too much to allow it to fail. I won't write if I know that what will come out isn't good enough, right? So then the what it sounds like is, then when you say good enough, that means you have certain expectations on the end result of the product or the end result of the story. That means if you have heightened expectations for the end result, that means unless you meet those expectations, you're almost setting yourself up to be disappointed. Now, if that expectation is, I just want to finish the story, great. But it sounds like you have even higher expectations that it needs to match a certain level. What can help, Courtney, is clarifying what is good enough, right? For me, what is good enough is finishing The Last Scarecrow, having a clear plot, having characters that make sense, and let's see, plot, characters that make sense, having a world which feels maybe similar to fantasy tropes but feels different. And I have a list of things that I want that are good enough for me. If I don't reach all of them, like, that sucks, but I love the journey so much of writing it that I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't. I will just use that as feel to then be like, all right, well, what can I fix about the story? Right. So I think clarifying your expectations might help. So that way you can enjoy the process and the journey of writing, regardless of the end result. Right. And you said I'm using Nano to get back into writing daily. And like that's the idea. Like, that's the thing about NaNoWriMo that I love, the mindset behind it, right? It's just daily writing. That is what I care about more than anything. If you've embarked on this 50,000 word goal, I don't care if you've written only a couple hundred words throughout the month, as long as you've gotten into that process of thinking about your storytelling, and writing on a schedule and consistency that works for you. So when we hit December 1st, you're not like, okay, well, I'm done writing. I'll write next November. No, writing is a lifestyle. And if you want to get your books out there, if you want to get it published, if you want to have your stuff read by other people, that's a lifestyle. And I think that's what I love. That's like the aspect that I love about Nano, which can then sometimes be overlooked, that it's about a word count goal. No, it's not about a word count goal. It's about the lifestyle and the mindset. Hey, what's up, Mary? Welcome, welcome. Catching up, just brainstorming at this point. Since I write for fun, I don't have the same pressure. For those doing NaNoWriMo, I'm sure you will make it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. And then this is actually another really good call out. Courtney, get it done. Don't worry. You can edit after. A lot of writers, when they go for the NaNoWriMo goal, they don't actually worry about editing. Like, unless they do like a short story and they're not trying to hit the 50,000, a lot of writers consider the 50,000 goal just for the rough draft, just for like the word vomit, get everything out there. Most, like the majority of writers, authors don't have a don't have a final draft of a book by the end of the month, assuming it's a 50,000 word novel. Much easier to do if you do like a short story. Then you actually have the time, depending on your schedule. And then we also have to keep in mind, guys, we're hitting the end of the year, which, thanks, we just came out of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, all of our end of the years, the New Year's. This is a time when life gets busy for most of us. This is the time when life gets crazy. Most of us probably have families. So like, then we got stuff going on with the family. Work can be crazy. Sometimes students generally don't get a break till December generally. So I think those are other things to keep in mind. And trying to figure out the balance is always a good thing. Let's see, Emma, you're like, my heroine is running a romance bookshop and kittens have just been born. A romance bookshop. Well, I totally approve of the bookstore concept. You know, Emma, that's funny because in this Last Scarecrow bit, I was just writing about a library, and I'm trying to figure out how to describe a library in this world and how I want to I want to frame it into the world context. But we have a lot of cat lovers in the community, so I think everyone probably approves of kittens. Oh man, that's funny. Let's see, Courtney. Good enough is the story in my head not getting changed based on what's happening in my current life. I don't want my romance story to not have romance. I mean, that I could totally resonate with that. I mean, writing a romance story and not having romance, that would suck a little bit. that would definitely suck a little bit. Is not my head not getting changed based on what's happening. But I mean, I think, Courtney, also something to keep in mind is that the story probably will evolve, though. right? And this is something that's really important. The story might evolve, it might become better, or it could evolve and there could be things that are worse. Regardless, the rough draft, like that's the goal of the rough draft, is just have fun, get it out, and enjoy what you get. Because regardless of what happens, let's say you get to the end of the rough draft and you think back and like, yeah, there wasn't a lot of romance, but I wanted it. The perfect thing, Courtney, is you can always fix it on the second draft. You can always fix it in future drafts. If it doesn't have enough romance, then you're like, all right, well, maybe I need to add another character arc. Maybe I need to add another plot line so the romance is more obvious. And I think that's my belief, right? So that way, like, set less expectations for yourself on just like the rough draft. So that way you can enjoy getting out and having fun with it. Then that way you don't feel pressured by the end result of it, because you can always change it next month. That is always an option. Yeah, and Tiara is right. I've never beat Nano. I just like to write every day with the community. Completely agree, Tiara. One of my favorite parts of my day is these the live streams. I just like being able to write and then being able to chat with everyone about the writing as I nerd out about scarecrows, crows, and dragons. But yeah, real talk, in previous years, I've literally never had the time to actually be able to do NaNoWriMo. I've always been way too busy with work. I'm like, if there's a month, it's why, and this was always the thought that came to me, how come the National Writing Month is during like the worst time of the year? Like, that was the thought that always came to me. Anybody who has a 9 to 5 job, like, they're busy. You're dealing with holiday stuff, family stuff, and like November to me was always the worst month of the year for a National Writers Month. And then I had to go look into the history of Nano. I'm like, okay, so why did they choose November? Oh, because of the weather. Okay, so Nano started because of the idea of like, okay, bad weather season, writers, people are already inside anyways, to then incentivize writing when people are already inside. I'm like, okay, I could totally see that. Whereas if National Writers Month was like, let's say June, right? Summer, people aren't inside, people probably aren't writing. Yeah, I would say if it was up to me and if I could create a new National Writers Month, I think I would probably aim for spring. I feel like spring would be a much stronger National Writers Month. Summer, because summer can be debatable. Fall, you're kind of getting ready for school. Maybe you're getting back into the work season. You start thinking towards the end of the year. I really think spring would be the best time. Yeah, if I was to ever like create a National Writers Month. But it sounds like there's a lot of different types of book book type of months now out there, with all the nano stuff that's been going on the past couple years. Tiara, so you're like, the closest I got was 35,000 10 years ago. So Tiara, that means within the next 10 years, you just have to get to 36,000. I believe in you. You have to be at a place where you can actually balance it with your work-life balance to actually be able to do it. It's the only way for somebody to do 50,000 words is they also have to have the time to be able to write it. Not everybody has the time. Like, I can't just be like, all right, bills, I need to write 50,000 words. I'm not getting paid for it. Just pay yourselves. Bills don't work out like that, unfortunately. So unless you have the lifestyle to be able to do it. Yeah, Emma, I love it. This is my third try, so I'm going with third time is the charm. Guys, and the beautiful thing is you can keep trying. I attempted to do the whole YouTube journey 2 times before this over the past 10 years, and I failed miserably. But I learned from the process, and I know with my writing, I just keep on trying. I'm going to keep on trying and keep on doing it, whether that's the YouTubing, whether that's the writing stuff, until I'm successful, because I love what I do. Yeah, I'm like, I do edit during Nano as well, but I am full-time writer. I'm not trying to fit it in around a job. Right. And you see, that's always something else to keep in mind, guys. You also have to remember like that. And this is why, Emma, thank you for sharing that. We have to keep in mind that we can't compare ourselves to others. Right. And this, like, same for me. Like, I do all this stuff full time. This is my life. I do all of this stuff like between the live streaming stuff, between the WriteNow community, and then between all of my writing services. I'm doing this 12 to 16 hours a day, every single day, because I love this and I love what I'm doing. This would not have been possible for me a couple years ago when I was still working in customer service, I was just too burnt out. And I think this is why when we think about what's possible, we have to judge what's possible based off of our own lifestyle and based off the amount of time we're actually able to spend so we don't get burnt out. Absolutely agreed. Mary, I like that. Like, I've written stories and on the second run though, dumped my entire beginning. Let's see, Cornelia, because November 1st is National Authors Day. Yep. Okay, perfect. So I feel like we got some great conversations going in. Let's see. So Tiara, I know we had a let's see. So I know Tiara needed help. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. So two things. So Tiara needs some help. She threw up some ideas and I wanted to throw it out there. Um, let me think. All right. So Tiara, so okay, so how about this? So let's take a couple minutes, guys, because I wanted to help Tiara out because she asked for our help from the community. She's trying to decide on two different story ideas. And I wanted to give her a little support because we have such a creative. All right. Well, I there we go. As like my internet is a little funky today. It's probably because I'm in the middle of a snowstorm. So if I freeze, I should be good. Okay. Awesome. So real fast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up. Tiara has two pitches for two different story ideas, and I just want to get your feedback on which one sounds more interesting to you. But before I hop into that, if you're enjoying the stream, follow and subscribe. I'm here every day with the Right Now community, trying to just help with that daily writing motivation lifestyle. So whether or not you're here every day, whether or not you're like, all right, you know what, my writing, my style, I can do it 2 to 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week, or when it works with my schedule, come join us. Come join us. We're here all the time. Today is day 320 of consecutive writing streams and many, many more to come. So whether you're hopping in the Discord, whether you're here in the live streams, make sure you tap that follow button, tap that subscribe button so you can be alerted when we go live. All right, my friends. And then also, like, we have a lot planned. There's a lot coming up in December and in the coming months. So make sure that you're alerted. Mondays is our update stream. So that's why when we do updates, but definitely make sure you are part of the community. All right, beautiful. Wanted to get to that. And then let's help. So let's give Tiara a little help first. So I'll throw it on here. Yes. Yes, Emma. Let me I'll throw up the Discord for you if you want to come join us. Our Discord's super active, by the way. Like I actually like I've never been a huge Discord person prior to this year, but literally everyone's like we're using Discord every day and people are really into the Discord. For any of you who aren't in it, I just dropped the Discord down in the YouTube. If you want to come join us on Discord, our community is pretty active on there. If you want to like connect with us outside of the live streams, but okay. So let's hop into. Let me pull up the Discord. Let me see. Let me pull this. I was like, make sure. I was like, I forgot if there was a way to minimize this. I was like, I know there was. All right, so got that. Could have sworn there was a way to minimize that. Okay. So let's go here. Where were we? So Tiara needs help. So Tiara has two stories that she's working on. I'll read through both of them. Or she has two story ideas. I just want to hear which one do you like the most? So here's the first idea. Let's see. What was the question? So Tiara's putting together or putting an anthology on female rage and have two ideas. The story has to fit in 20,000 words or less. One is fleshed out more than the other. The girls in my group like both, so ultimately the decision is up to Tiara. So we're going to help her see if there's one that you like more than the other. Okay, so the first idea, it's called Dogpile. Here's the summary. When Stephanie survives an attack by her musician ex, he twists the law and the truth to sue her. She then becomes the target of a violent harassment campaign by her ex, his friends, and fans. Once the court case ends, Stephanie moves to the middle of nowhere where she gets a job at a gas station in an attempt to begin rebuilding her life. As she heals, a man who reminds her of her ex before things got bad comes in the gas station. She's slowly seduced by him until he reveals himself to be a serial killer. She escapes his clutches, but leads him on a chase across the country as she fights back and sets a plan into motion to kill him before he can kill her. When he finally catches up to her, there's a brutal fight for her life, but she kills him, proving her strength to herself. That's so that okay, that's really interesting. I'm actually really intrigued by that. So it's almost like this character of Stephanie keeps she deals with an abusive ex, and then she ends up falling into another game of cat and mouse with another, sounds like a serial killer this time. It sounds like the first one is an abusive person and the second one is a serial killer. That sounds like that's going to be a really, really intense journey, by the way. So, okay, there's the first one. That first one is called Dogpile. And let's see what the second one is. Let's see. The second one doesn't have a title, but it's body horror and it's less female oriented with men. Let's see. But with mommy issues, generation trauma, and feeling trapped by life circumstances. All right. So this one's a little less fleshed out. Here's the second one. And we'll just call this one the body but it's body horror unless but with mommy issues, generational trauma. So it sounds like the second story is more about maybe body horror and generational trauma. Okay. Tabby and her mother don't get along. As medical bills pile up, Mae Marshall gets older and sicker. Tabby has no life outside of her mother, no job because she's Mae's full time caretaker, adding to their money problems. Tensions continue to grow between Tabby and her mother until one day, Tabby, an anxious skin picker, picks too deep and finds a mole that her mother has. The worse her mother treats her, the more she picks and finds herself destroying her skin, and she realizes she's looking more and more like her mother. Tabby and Mae get into a fight, and Tabby, in a fit of rage, kills her mother. So I'm trying to decide which one feels because the other girls are doing fantasy and sci-fi and Dogpile. Okay. All right. So then that's the body horror one. Okay. So we definitely have two very different styles. The first one, you could tell the first one's a little bit more fleshed out from the plot, kind of like what you had shared, Tiara. So the first one is titled, let's see, Dogpile, which is the serial killer, which is girl survives and escapes a serial killer. Whereas the second one is body horror. I've seen a lot of those body horror, like those body horror indie movies. I could totally see either of them. I think they're both very, very popular styles, and definitely both two extremely different directions. The first one is basically a game of cat and mouse where the girl has to survive the serial killer chase, whereas the second one is going to be more of like it's probably going to all take place like in smaller locations. You would really have to play into the body horror. I could see that. You could actually make, I feel like the second one would probably be scarier and a little bit more niche. Body horror, body horror can go into so many different directions. I've seen ones where you do it where it's very light body horror and then ones where it's very extreme. So I think you would have to think about the level of depth you would want to take the body horror if you go with the second one, especially because the second one could be far, far darker, depending on how you wanted to go about it. So let's see. What I will do is I'll throw up the poll for you, Tiara, and that way people can vote. Let's see. And let's see. So the first one was dog pile. Dog pile. Stuff. Serial killer. Serial killer. Cat / cat mouse. Okay, perfect. So the first one was dog pile. Second one was body horror. Body horror. Slash. And I actually do like in the second one where it's kind of like the thing with the mom. I could see that generational thing. And then at the end realizing she's exactly like her mother. Like you could do such a fun generational concept with that. Absolutely. Let's see. So I would say the second one is body horror slash generational, or I would say maybe like family trauma, family trauma. Perfect. So I threw that up there. I was like, hopefully I did that. Which story would you prefer? Awesome. So I just threw both of those stories down in the poll. So you guys can decide which one you would prefer. So make sure you're here on YouTube if you want to vote. Vote for which story you like the most. And we'll show the poll results after the next writing sprint. So Tiara, I hope this helps a little bit. Definitely feel free to drop a comment if you want to share kind of what your thoughts were, but make sure cast your poll, cast your vote. Which one would you rather see come to life? And we'll throw up the poll results after the next sprint. I think my guess, Tiara, is you're going to have a struggle because I think both of them are equally viable options, but they're both kind of for two different audiences. So it's because serial killer story is a vastly different horror subgenre than body horror. Very, very different subgenres. Anyone who's a horror fan would probably enjoy both of them, but I think it's something to keep in mind. So I threw the poll up there. Definitely make sure you go vote, fam. Let's help TR out. See like which one would you prefer to read? Which one would you prefer to see come to life and why? And we'll see if we're able to help you, TR, give you a little bit of insight. Emma, thank you so much. You always need catitude in your life, right? Absolutely love that. I know we have a bunch of cat lovers in the community as well. All right, beautiful. So let's hop into our second writing sprint. I'm all ready. I want to get back into my crazy hand and foot as they're taking Scarecrow on this tour. All right, let's see what happens. So I got 25 minutes on the clock. Whether you're brainstorming, writing, or editing, it's all the same. Or kick back, relax, and I'll write vicariously for the both of us. All right, so let's see. Let me pull up that. Perfect. I think I'm all set. So I got 25 minutes on the clock, and it's time to write now. All right. Writing sprint done. Really, really great work. Great, great, great progress that time around. So I was very, very happy with that. I feel like we were able to get some excellent writing progress in. I was like, that time I actually made a very good bit. I'm at this problem that I keep adding words. I'm like, oh God, I keep adding words even though I need to cut words. This is gonna be a problem with this draft. Um but I know this part of the story, like I know that it needed more fleshing out. And I think I'm having so much fun with the introduction of this hand character. I think the hand and the foot, like I think this is actually very, very powerful. And you guys will see why when I get a little farther in. But I actually I realized I think it's very, very important to this part of the story, and it's going to elevate this part. I think in the first draft, this section, which is called the New City arc, this is the New City arc. This current chapters that I'm in is where it's, I think before it was Scarecrow goes through a series of traps and trials. I don't think there was an emotional resonance to it, and where I'm definitely trying to layer that on. And I think I'm gonna be able to pull it off with these with the introduction of this hand, the hand and the foot. So I'm very happy with how it's coming out. We'll see how we tie it in because I'm about to move it along to connect it to the end of the chapter. So I'm very happy. We'll see how it goes, and I'm making some great progress. I hope you are as well. Were you able to make any words? Were you able to get anything done on that sprint? Drop it down in the chat. Let's see. ML, you're like 325 words. Nice, nice, nice. Have you gone to my chapter in the cat story yet? We haven't. We haven't. So we probably won't be getting to that chapter for like another week or so, my friend. I would say definitely keep checking back in. Absolutely. Soul and myself, and Shulky, we're going to review stuff next week as we continue working on the story. But definitely, if you want to keep adding to it, you're more than welcome to. If you want to hop into the Google Doc, you're welcome to hop in at any time to keep adding on to it. 100%. Courtney, 605 words. Wonderful. Sounds like you made some decent progress that time, Courtney. Really great work. And Bobby, like 142 of my prologue done. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And it's like, once again, I think right now I'm technically writing. So let's see. I'm going to see how much did I get today. All right, let's see. So Courtney, I think I got about the same as you. I got just done around 700 words, but that's everything that I've done. So that means I averaged about 350 words per each of the sprints. So I'm totally cool with that. I'm realizing since with what I'm doing right now, because it's kind of like writing and then editing, my word count velocity isn't always super high. But it's all good. It's not something that concerns me because I'm always trying to balance the writing velocity with the live streaming aspect. Yeah, I would probably be able to get a lot higher volume if I wasn't writing them on the live streams, which might happen when I'm working on future books in the future. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty happy with what I've accomplished so far. I like that. Catching up to ML, my new daily goal. Love that. ML, you're like, the action scenes are so hard for me to write, and the story is all action. ML, you should definitely connect with Soul. Soul's really good at action scenes. If you're struggling with any action stuff, because I know Soul's definitely really good at that stuff. Absolutely. You're the one who beat Chat Soul. I think what's interesting is we go kind of back and forth beyond who gets the highest word counts. I think sometimes some of us do, sometimes others do, and I think that's the great thing, right? And it goes to show that the writing process is like a roller coaster, right? Sometimes we're doing awesome and we win, other times we're doing not so awesome and we need help from the community. So totally, totally. Yeah, like the word counts for like a 25-minute sprint, 550 to 620. I was like, I think my average for these 25-minute sprints ends up being like 3 to 400. That's like my average for writing sprints. I don't actually go that much. Let's see. So Courtney, not Courtney, Tiara, great question. So let's pull up the poll results. I didn't actually end it. Let me go check and see what we got. All right. So with the poll results, let's end the poll. All right. So it looks like Tiara, it looks like they're pretty closely tied. It looks like you got 57% towards the body horror family trauma and 42% towards the serial killer cat mouse type story. So I'm actually not surprised because once again, they're two different genres of stories. And I really think you could take it and you could go in either direction. I would recommend, and it sounds like there might be a little bit more interest in the body horror. And that's probably because it's a little bit more of a niche, unique thing that we don't see as often as we do see serial killer. Serial killer is a little bit more of a popular genre, for sure. So I think I would ask yourself, Tiara, like which one do you feel like writing? So just two different stories. Does it sound more fun to go write a serial killer cat mouse story, or does it sound more fun to go a body horror generational trauma story? The body horror story is probably going to be much darker, would be my guess. But the serial killer story, obviously, we can't say serial killer things are not dark. They are. It just serial killer is going to be a little bit more like action thriller. Body horrors will end up obviously being more like thriller horror, generally from what I've seen from the genres. So definitely something to keep in mind, Tiara, but definitely hope that helps. All right. And for those of you who haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the Art of Writing newsletter. This is my weekly and monthly newsletter where you will actually get the schedule for the weekly live stream schedule. You'll also receive newsletters with not with helps, with articles to help you improve your writing. You'll receive story excerpts and things to help keep you motivated. Now I'm getting to a place where I can be getting the newsletter edition weekly. I think based on my schedule, right now it's happening either bi-weekly or weekly, depending on how my schedule's going. So definitely make sure you subscribe. If you want to subscribe to the Art of Writing newsletter, it's linked down in the YouTube description below. I also just dropped it down in the comments. So definitely subscribe for the Art of Writing. Another way to help you stay motivated with the daily writing lifestyle. All right, the beautiful. So that is the newsletter. And that brings us to creative writing on the morrow. I'll be back tomorrow with another daily live stream. Now, usually Mondays are update streams. I'm trying to think if we have that many updates. So I might do some writing sprints tomorrow as well because I just want to keep pushing through with Last Scarecrow. I really want to keep pushing through. I think my goal right now is to finish this draft by the end of December. I'm hoping I can, even though my progress so far has been slow. The biggest part of the story that I know needed rewriting was the beginning. So I know that I'm going to increase in speed the further I get into the manuscript. So hoping that I can finish the draft by end of December. That's like my goal. I would love to have draft 2. I'm just going to like put it out there, finish draft 2 by the end of December. So very, very cool. Make sure to come join us. We might do an update for Hermes the Cat. We'll see, but we'll probably do some writing sprints as well. And that's what we got tomorrow. Make sure I'll throw up the schedule tonight for our newsletter subscribers, or we'll have the schedule. I'll post it on socials sometime early next week. And if you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button on your way out. Help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool, because they are. And that will really make a difference. Thank you all for joining me today. We had some really great sprints. I know I got some solid work done, and it sounds like some of you guys got as well. Tiara, I hope we were able to help you out. Emma, thanks for stopping by. Tiara, Courtney, ML, Bobby. Let's see. I know I saw LeMay, Nil, a couple of you other guys here in the community. As always, I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. And that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers.